Yeah, when rain pops along, it really does help the Audis. It mutes any kind of performance advantage that the Peugeots might have. It seems that particularly the 2 car, which is on its way, this is the red top, this is the #1 car, the 2 car, which is our leader. In the hands of Alan McNish, it's fantastic. Tom Christensen, very aggressive driver, and I suppose that this is going to be the test. They did this earlier on when they weren't sure whether to go to intermediates or full wets. Let's see what they bring out this time. They're going for intermediates here. Now, this will be a test. See how they go out there on the wet track, and see whether Tom will go for the performance difference. That surely will matter.
Liz, explain please what to view as the intermediates wets.
Well, it's a tough call, really. I mean, certainly on slicks, with any bit of rain on the circuit, they become absolutely gripless. I mean, it is really a treacherous drive. So I don't think this close to the end of the race that anybody wants to take that risk. So maybe on some other parts of the circuit that we can't see, it's raining even more. But I can certainly see the rain through the window here. So I think teams are saying, let's be safe, let's put something on that gives just a little bit more grip. But I don't think it's ready for wets yet. So that's the decision on the intermediates.
Interestingly, this morning, after the rain, which came about 4 o'clock, finished about 8 o'clock this morning, Dindo Capello tried to get a full stint out of his last set of wet tyres, but by the time he did it, but by the time he came in, there was absolutely no tread on the shoulders on the right-hand side of the car.
Well, this is the tricky bit, is that once you get into that situation, you have to be looking for wet patches on the circuit, because you must cool your tyres down. If you're on a drying circuit on wet tyres, especially a soft compound of wet tyres, it can be very, very difficult, and you've got to use them, because it actually reverses the effect. You end up having more grip in the wet and having less and less grip as if you were on slicks in the wet the other way around. Does that make sense?
Yeah. They just showed us the number 2 is in, our race leader Tom's in coming in for those inters. We saw them ready. They're still slicks, those intermediates, aren't they? But they've just got hand-cut grooves in them.
They do. It's just enough to sort of cut through the water a little bit. So it'll be slippy on the wet, but certainly in this condition, we had a dry track. We're only just getting a bit wet. It's not pouring. You've got to, make that decision.
Getting a bit heavier though, isn't it?
It is. It's starting to come down. We can certainly see it more.
It's here over the pit lane. You can probably see it on your screens now as Tom comes on board. It's certainly on our pit camera there. So,
however, as what Carlton said, certainly the rain could actually be very good for Audi, because we had Nick Manassian pushing as hard as he could in that Peugeot, going very quickly, but as soon as the rain comes, that's going to level it all out again. So this could be exactly what Audi needs.
While we're watching this change, let's just update you on LMP2. Michael Bleekemolen in the Dutch Porsche Spider. He's in 9th place overall. We predicted last night those cars could get into the top 10. Indeed, John Nilsson is only in 12th place, not that far behind him. In GT1, it's Brabham leading, and they've actually got themselves into the top 13th, in 13th place now. That is incredible. And it's Mika Salo now on board the Ridley Competizione car. Liz, at this stage of the race, as we see more going back out, are we going to see any more driver changes?
I think it really just depends on the team, to be honest. I think most drivers are probably in for the duration now, one would have thought. I mean, it'd be pretty rare. I mean, we're an hour away from the end. Most of them will be doing a double stint to the end or something along those lines. It's usually in some of the teams where you'll see maybe teams that have had a lot of problems and they've got a team owner or something who'd really like to finish. That's sort of when you see someone say, okay, we'll put someone in and let them finish the race, which is nice, and it's nice when that happens. But all these top guys, certainly, they're in for the duration.
There's our helicopter. They're up in the clouds, and this is great shots from it, and you can see just how wet it is at the moment. When you imagine this camera is pointing down, it's not pointing up at the sky.
And don't forget, another thing is that this circuit has been used for 24 hours heavily. We've got a lot of oil on the circuit, stuff that's going to come back to the surface now that it's dried out and it's becoming wet again, so it's going to make things very slippery.
So I think we're going to see a general stop by everyone else, aren't we, soon? We've got quite a few cars in now. The Corvette's in there, the 64 car right underneath us. It used to be yellow, that car. It's just absolutely filthy now. This is typical. In fact, in comes the 63 as well. They've called them both in. The 40 Lola goes back out. So here we are on board the Corvettes. This is one of the Peugeots in. That's the 7 Peugeot. It's Grand Panic. They're trolleying it. They're going to put it in the pits.
Oh no!
My life, intermediates are not going to do any good. You can't see it on your screen, but it is absolutely stair-rodding at the moment. In the movies, they use fire hydrants so you can just see the rain. So it's not being picked up on our cameras at the moment, but it's going to have to be full wet, surely. Look, intermediates, do you want it? No.
They've got a jack failure, haven't they?
Well, that's as maybe. It's not just that. The fuel hasn't quite finished yet. They came out with the intermediates. They've actually gone back in. Are they going to bring wets out here?
This is a tricky call, and if everyone everyone goes on to wets and that other Audi has already gone out on intermediates and has to pit again, this could be a problem for them. This could be a mess for Audi.
This could be the moment if Audi's gone out on intermediates, and we know where they have. And wow.
This is going to be wets pretty soon, I've got to say. Looking out this window, it's going to be wets. This is getting exciting. Stay with us. We'll be back with you live on Eurosport.
High drama here at Le Mans. The rain is coming down. Everyone's coming back in for full wets. Those who went for intermediates, advantage may well be lost. We've had a Peugeot push behind, Mark.
And the number 3 Audi, that's being backed into the garage. You can see it on your screens now. Oh dear, it's all falling apart at the top of the field.
We've had late driver changes, rain specialists wanting to come in, and Peugeot have got their own troubles here as well. That's the 9 car running in 3rd place it was. Montagny was on board. There was all kinds of consternation. Nobody really wanted to take the car out. Sarrazin's on board the 8 car. And, well, chaos nearly. Tom Christensen is in the 2 car out there. We're looking at Nick Minassian on board the 7 on his outlap here. Still running out there is Tom Christensen. I'd love to see how he's coping. There's the 7 car on board with Minassian. Hasn't turned on the windscreen wiper just yet, but it really is coming down. You saw that snap out of the back there, Mark.
Sideways through a nage, and slowest corner on the circuit. It's doing it there, Liz. What it must be like for the Porsche curves.
Oh god, yeah, well, Arnage is a treacherously slippy corner, I have to say. Even in the dry, it's one of those places everyone goes off, as you know. You brake too late there and you slide right off. So in the wet, it's just, it's horrendous. And then of course the Porsche curves, such fast corners, and in these conditions, an hour from the end of the race, not really somewhere where you want to be taking too many risks.
I think Liz is brightening up, and I think this could just be a passing shower. It's a heavy shower, but it's going to pass for sure. Forecast called for some rain sprinkling, they called it. Sprinkles, they called it on the French media.
Certainly fairly heavy sprinkles at the moment. It's added a lot of excitement to this race.
Now, Liz, if you're Tom on those intermediates or hand-cut slicks, how would you be feeling at the moment?
Well, I think Tom Christensen is a very skillful Audi driver, and I think he's going to be able to make the right decisions about what's going on.
It's dry out there. It was dry down at Mulsanne.
Well, this is the thing, is that in these conditions, it can look more dry than it actually is. This is why it's so tricky, is that you can look at the surface and say, that's going to be dry. Push too hard, and suddenly you're facing the wrong way. So I think with the rain just starting to come down, we don't see the standing water, but it's still slick. Yeah,
you see the spray here now.
That striping, you can tell just how wet it is. There's no dry line out there, and talk about going round gingerly. This is Frank Bieler. Now, you don't normally say Frank Bieler and the word gingerly in the same word, in the same phrase at all. Out comes the number 9. Don't know what the problem was. See how slippy and skiddy it is out there. Even rubber soles are not good enough in these conditions. And look at that, just pushing it away on its own jacks, almost like caster jacks, I should say. And well, we're going to see whether they reboot it. I think they were just tightening everything up. They decided to stay with the rubber that they have chosen, but obviously we didn't see while we were away what they did. But wow, this is it. Run in, and it's going to be an absolute thriller. 2 minutes and 26 is the gap between Tom Christensen and the Peugeot of Minassian. They're on the same lap, don't forget, 366. That's 2 laps clear of the next cars, which are the number 9 of Montagny and Lucas Law in the 3. Both of those are in and may well tumble down just a little bit.
On board our race leader, let's talk us through this.
Well, this is really exciting. I mean, we are now less than an hour from the end of the race. We've just had some tipping rain out of nowhere. Tom Christensen is still leading this race. He's been in the car for a long time. They need this win. Alec McNish has been trying to get this win for the last 10 years. Look at how wet this is. The rain has come down so fast. The huge plume of water coming off the back of Tom Christensen's car. This is where we're going to see the really good drivers at work, putting in the right times to bring the cars home, but not to lose any pace.
I'm not aware that they're showing a gap of 2:20. I'm not aware that Minassian's are back on the lead lap yet.
Yeah, I believe they are sharing it. The split on the screens is because he hasn't come through the start-finish straight just at the moment, but it's about 2 minutes 20. 2 minutes 20 is all that separates them. Don't forget, we're in the final hour now. 55 minutes to go. 55 minutes and 50 seconds. Unbelievable that it's going to be this close. They were calling for a grandstand. Everyone was saying maybe this will happen, this sort of finish. Well, you never know. And the rain is now ebbing. It's ebbing, and on parts of the circuit it's actually stopped. No rooster tail here. Look how different the spray levels are here than it was on the start-finish straight. It's so difficult to call.
Well, Tom Christensen now making his way down the Mulsanne straight on his way to the first chicane. It's still wet there, though. though. You may not say there's a plume there, but you can see it's slippery. It's very slippery there, and especially at the speeds that they'll be doing. So he's still going to have to be cautious under braking into that first chicane.
Do you know when the last time this car came in at all, chaps? I'm just wondering whether they've got to make another stop before they go in, or when the next stop, I should say.
They will definitely need to make a stop,
yes.
yeah.
But when it's going to come, within 55 minutes?
Probably within the next 15, I'd have thought.
Yeah,
Yes.
quite soon, I think, actually.
Yes, I wonder whether they will allow themselves to drive a change. There is a maximum, don't forget. And,
well, certainly Audi will have calculated every inch of everything to the T, so they will know exactly when Tom needs to get out of the car.
Who's the wet expert in that car as far as you're concerned? Would you go with Alan McNish?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
me too.
to be honest, I think all three drivers are superb in the wet, dry, anything, but Alan is so regular and can just put in a time and do it over and over again, you know, better than almost any driver I've ever seen.
Now,
so.
the problem, of course, for Peugeot is that Audi can change a driver during the fueling with no delay. Peugeot, they can't.
This is
Mechanics
true,
got to burrow in there, get the belts done up. The drivers can't do it themselves. There's not enough space to do that.
Yeah,
the
that's
big
true.
difference.
This is going to be a big advantage to them. No roof means that they can get that done quickly.
Just thanks to Cadpig, who in our absence set up a thread saying Le Mans the final stretch. We now have, thanks Cadpig for all your hard work, and great to see that everyone is there. Sheila S, Sheila M, lots of Sheilas going on out there. Airbus A346, I think, been up all the entire night. But we've got an official one just now, and that's where we're going to be getting your vote as the umbrellas go up like colourful mushrooms all around the circuit here. We want to know your thoughts on best car, best performance, best driver, and well, I don't think there's any doubt about the best car just for the time being, but what about these conditions? Will it suit the Audis? Get us your thoughts. If you head to the message boards, it's eurosport.yahoo.co.uk. Go to the message boards, hit motorsports, and we've got a spinner, and it is the 7 car in second place. Minassian having trouble. They're on intermediates. Should they have chosen wets, Liz?
Well, let's just look at the times. We've got the last time of Christensen. He's on a 3:48, which is phenomenal in these conditions. However, Minassian's on a 4 minutes, so obviously really struggling. It's getting wetter. It has not stopped raining, as we can see. So I don't think, you know, on a circuit like Le Mans, it may be more wet in some places and not in others, but truly it's very wet where it is wet here right now.
He tried to turn into the second part of Dunlop, just
couldn't make it happen.
Pull the front end over.
Which is what happens in these conditions. You turn and nothing happens at all. So certainly a very good driver in the wet, but this is getting a bit tricky, and they don't want to be going off in these conditions, not this close to the end.
Absolutely do not want to be going off in these conditions. With a gap of 2 minutes and 39 after 23 hours and 8 minutes, it could so easily be thrown away. We're going to take ourselves a short break. Don't forget that new side. That's what it was. Wow, back in a moment.
Welcome back to Eurosport. We're in the wet here in the closing hour of the Le Mans 24 Hours. Tom Christensen's leading from Nick Minassian, Frank Montani. That is Audi, Peugeot, and at the moment 3 laps covering the top 3 cars.
Well, we're going to be showing you that incident in a moment. It was a real breath holder, and one of the Porsches getting in the way. I say getting in the way, that's unkind. It was, I think, the Lizard's car and Seth Neiman, and you were impressed, weren't you, Liz?
Yeah, I have to say, you know, Seth has had a tough race, and he always tries really hard. He does a great job, but he is the amateur driver in that car, and I have to say he did a phenomenal job to avoid hitting that Peugeot, because it spun about 3 times right in front of him, and he just narrowly missed him. So all credit to Seth. He did a really good job to avoid that.
Well done. Good heads-up driving, and well, we've got Mika Salo here in the 82 car. They are the class leaders, Mark, of GT1. They're having it all their own way. It's going to be a Ferrari party, surely this.
Yeah, I think class is certainly the right word. This is the classiest team in sports car racing. Rizzi Competizione, Giuseppe Rizzi from Houston. He's the Porsche dealer there. He and Rick Meyer run a really tight team there. Jaime Mello, Mika Salo, and Jimmy Bruni bought in from Virgo for the weekend because he's a factory driver. And Liz, there was a little bit of aggravation about that. Virgo were not happy, were they? Couldn't do much about it, but
I think there was, and obviously even now, probably maybe a little bit more because he's now, you know, in the leading Ferrari, but definitely brilliant for him and a smart decision by Risi because they've had a very, very strong run, been leading for hours and hours and hours on end. So certainly it was a good decision from Ferrari and from Risi.
Yeah, and if you're just joining us, unfortunately Rob Bell and the Virgo crew, they went out on lap 289. That's what, 25 laps ago now with a blown engine. Very, very unusual for the F430.
And the Porsche Challenge was neutered because the two leading cars got into each other and just wrote off what was looking like a Porsche party. It suddenly swung the way of Ferrari, which is what we were predicting before the beginning of the race. We thought that Porsche had essentially just switched that all around. Didn't happen a bit of it. There's the 3 car. It's in. It's Lucas Law, and look at what they're trying to face up to here. The camera, the scroller has actually jammed in the wet. It's not quite as bad as it looks on that onboard picture, I have to tell you. There, a little bit better view of it. Now let's have a brief talk about this. It's our leader in GT1 here, Mark.
Yeah, 333 laps completed by the 009 car. Brab's on board at the moment, and Mags, his long-time rival, Jan Magnussen, second. But Magnussen's a lap down in the 63 Corvette. We think they're all on intermediates. We've actually seen no one put full wets on yet, have we?
I think we did, yeah, we did a bit earlier. We saw a few full wets go on, definitely.
And I think they might have to, if this rain just starts to ebb, they might have to come in and swap them back.
I think they might.
It's not raining in front of us now, so...
No, it has definitely moved. The cloud's still looking a bit ominous, but...
gone to the other side of the circuit, that's the problem.
Celine's still out there, plying its trade back in 7th place in class. That's bravery. They'll be just wanting to get into the end here, and this is the 007 crew yet again playing the bridesmaid to the sister 09.
Yeah, we're looking very relaxed there. They're running in 4th place with Frentzen, and his first Le Mans, remember, first Le Mans in this century. He did come here, didn't he?
It's interesting what Heinz Hall was saying. He approached them, said he loved the car, and his people got in touch with their people, and they got a deal together.
Fantastic.
Perhaps you get one for a year to drive on the road.
Well, it's very nice to see so many of these, amazing old Grand Prix drivers, here to take on the Le Mans 24 Hours. We have just a wealth of them this year, don't we?
Yeah, it's been absolutely incredible. I mean, Alex Wurz returning here after a long and honourable Formula 1 career, but I think Jos Verstappen, that's a big shock. Olivier Panis, guys who've never been to Le Mans, and Verstappen had never ever raced in the night.
In my opinion, Jos Verstappen is the guy out there, because he has put LMP2, the LMP2 car, up there in 9th place. Ahead of him are 2 petrol cars in LMP1. So he's actually, if he can just get by those 2 cars, it's a tall order. He's 8 laps down on the Pescarolo of Trullier, the 17 car. But nonetheless, he's kind of like in a class of his own. He's just out there, or his team are. The 34 car, fabulous. Porsche RS Spiders come here, and that has been such a performance, that has. There's only 2 LMP1 petrol cars ahead of him before he gets into the diesel power cars. That's just great.
There is the Van Merkstein team, and Liz, let's not take anything away from Jeroen Bleekemolen. He's on board the car now. He's done a fabulous job. He has done 24-hour races. He and Mike Hazeman have raced at Spa many times, but he's been very, very quick all weekend.
He's been very impressive in this car, and he's done a lot of driving in it. It's like every time I look, he's in the car again. So he's done a fantastic job, and a big testament to Porsche, as you've said. Their first Le Mans 1-2 at the moment. We're not far from the end. It looks like it's going to stay that way. And just remember, it wasn't that many years ago when you could win the LMP2 class and be almost last. This was only like 4 years ago that could be the case. So to be 4 years on in the top 10 is very impressive.
And you want heroic. What about the 11 car down in 34th position? They came out of the box here, and they've been running top 10 mark for such a long time until their troubles.
Yeah, that's the Dome. I've been so impressed with that. I've already said once before, this is my car of the race at the moment. Let us know on the forum who yours is, and Frank Montani is still my favourite driver.
Well, we've got an interview downstairs.
Vous avez décidé de rester en slick sur la voiture numéro 7. C'est un choix vraiment dangereux et très
So, Michel, you
différent de vos
decided to stay with slick tyres. That was a bit of a dangerous choice, surely, out there.
Si on ne fait pas ça et si on ne joue pas sur, disons, le soleil qui
revient, we took that decision because if we don't make that call, then we would have to change again. And we're hoping that we can ride it and catch up with the Audis. It's our decision. We've just got to stick with it. Well, you're now about 3 seconds faster than the Audis, so what can you do to bridge the gap? Well, it's going to be very hard anyway, he says. But in Le Mans, a lot of things can happen out there, so we've just got to carry on fighting. What are you going to have to do if you're going to win it? What a question. If he knew, he'd do it. Let's talk about that at 3, he says. Quite right. Yeah.
Great answer there, I think, because the other option was maybe somewhere along the lines of hit Tom Christensen, which probably isn't the best option. So
No, that
very
isn't.
wisely spoken.
Tom has won it so many times, more than anybody else out there, Mark, and he's in the winning car. He thinks again, but the margin is so narrow you cannot say anything for definite out there.
Yeah, 8th place car. This is Loic Duval, the Japanese-based French driver. He is in the factory Courage. It's the only one that's surviving. And ahead of him, Benoit Trullier, his longtime rival in Japanese Super GT and in Formula Nippon. Benoit, of course, last year's Formula Nippon champion, and Loic was the Super GT vice champion. So very much a battle of the Japanese-based drivers there.
Nigel H saying drama all the way, just gotta love this race. Dr. Duck riding, I think the Peugeot throwing it away. That's from Diesel 2, another petrol head out there, and in fact it was Dr. Duck, Diesel 2, presumably agreeing with him. Huge decisions to be made, says Ralph. Varying weather conditions on the track. You're absolutely right, boys. How about boys and girls indeed, how about your decisions on best driver, best effort out there, and you know, go for the romance as well. Let's not just concentrate on the Peugeots and the Audis, although you can't take it away from any of them. They are just so focused on delivering the job here.
Let's hear it from Amanda Stratton. We heard what Hugh Chamberlain told us earlier, that she did a great job dragging that car back.
Yeah, no, I think that was a really good effort from her. I mean, it's unfortunate she put it off. I mean, I think just some of it is lack of experience. She's not driven this car much. She's not been able to race it before, so it was a lot to take on. But, you know, good on her for getting it back.
That Lamborghini just getting in the way of the gold top number 2 car. The Lamborghini's had its own problems as well. Maybe some of you out there think that the bravery that they have shown in the Russian sponsored car, the number 55, they've constantly come back, never given up and never say die attitude. Yeah, the Dome has done exceptionally well, says Ralph. Ralph, we agree with you. They have come here, run in the sort of top 10s, and it's been a pleasure to watch them, hasn't it, Liz?
It has, absolutely. And Lee H thinks that Stefan Sarrazin should be the best driver of the race just for his incredible pace and his best time of the entire race, which I can agree with. I think Stefan has really performed amazingly, but there's been a lot of drivers who have put it in. I know Mark's got his favourite.
Yeah, well, I nominate Frank Montani because of what he did during the night. He was banging in, when it was still dry, 3:21s all night long. No one else is within 5 seconds of him. Okay, Stefan Sarrazin has set the fastest lap of the race at 3:19, but Frank was just doing that time after time after time, and we've seen it in past years. This is such a consistent but fast driver.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have to say, it's Frank for me. I think he's done a fabulous job, and it was nice to see, you know, every lap within like 0.2 of itself for up to 10 laps. It's an incredible job.
Lead Porsche's in, just getting some new boots out there. I suspect it might be intermediates, but it's anybody's guess. It's probably going to be between an intermediate and a wet, or between an intermediate and a dry, which is the correct choice. Who on earth could possibly call it? There is the gap between Christensen and Minassian. They say the Audis have it when it's wet. And look at that, a moisture check from Michelin, the technician. Well, what about that? They're getting their surface temperature as well. They can measure evaporation rates when they measure the temperature.
From the Peugeot.
Is the 7 car running in 2nd place. Wow, we agree with you, Cadbig, on our message board. He's straight on there, and that shows you Wurslick's the wise choice. They were taking the ambient temperature of the track to see what the evaporation rates are like.
And that is his second mistake.
Yeah, he's had that spin earlier, narrowly missing that Porsche. He was very lucky there, and then lucky again that he didn't have so much speed on that he could actually get through those tyres.
Oh, back end. Wow, Cadbig saying this is the best. He said it's 1988 all over again. You might be right, Cadbig, and the rest of you on there, you're loving it. So we will be back after this break. Stay with us.
Blew up.
Welcome back. Jacques Villeneuve is there, and well, he's had a great Le Mans. Will he get a chance to equal Graham Hill's record? That's going to be a big ask. Your number 7 Peugeot of Minassian has had its troubles just holding on to the surface here, trying to keep the speeds up. Tom Christensen in the 2 car is our leader, And in ninth place, the leader of the LMP2s is the RS Spider in the hands of Bleekemolen at the moment. As far as GT1s are concerned, the 009 of Aston Martin of Brabham has a one-lap lead over Magnussen's Corvette, the 63 car. And when it comes to the GT2s, it's all about Mika Salo at the moment. He is he's leading by a country mile. He leads by 8 laps ahead of the nearest Ferrari to him. It's Ferraris filling the top 4 places. The lead Porsche is in 5th spot, Felbermayr Porsche. It's the boss on board, the number 77 car at the moment. We're talking about intermediates and how if it does suddenly dry off, they are going to start to get a little bit difficult in the run for home.
Well, yeah, we've just seen one of the Audis come in and swap from wets to intermediate tyres, and I was being asked by Mark if he felt that they could take it to the end on intermediates. A lot of that's going to depend on weather completely. At the moment, looking at the sky and based on the temperature, it's not very warm outside. The sky is not looking very promising. I don't think it's going to get sunny and beautiful any minute now.
No.
So chances are, in my opinion, the intermediate's going to be absolutely fine to the end. However, if this track dries up significantly, all of a sudden the intermediate tyre will go off. It will grain up because they'll be pushed very, very hard on these, very fast corners on the circuit, and it's going to grain up and it's going to go away. So it's going to be a tough one, really, but I think it's going to be okay.
Well, Mulsanne Straight has always been a bit of a nosher of cars that get it wrong, and you can see as well the difference in that little rooster tail that was being kicked up. Different parts of the circuit, local yellow, and the car just being rescued there. And is that the red top Audi?
Number 1.
Wow, I think that was a very, very long look at it, a long distance look at it, I should say. We'll wait and see.
Lucas Luhr's gone in the gravel.
Wow.
No, he's not in the number 1.
Yes.
No. Oh, so Biela, Frank Biela. Oh,
yeah.
Dear, oh dear. Frank.
Yes, he is there as well. He's being helped out. Now, don't forget, he came in, took some intermediates, and we thought maybe he's going to be pushed out on a test here to see how they go. The answer is not very well.
What an incredible finish. It should be hard for the heart.
Yeah, it's another 40 minutes to go.
Wolfgang Ulrich is with
It's
us.
really thrilling because we think this was not the very end of the interesting weather today. We think that there will be another shower coming, so it will become and stay difficult to the end.
I'm sure you're looking forward. The Peugeot is pushing hard and they have slicks. You are an intermediate tire, so...
Yeah, I hope we have chosen the safe and the right choice for the tires.
Okay, thank you. Do you know the Audi number 1 just stopped on the track? Do you know what's happening, or?
Not yet, no.
Thank you.
There was a man who just did not want to answer questions about tyres and tyre choice, and hardly surprising. He's not going to give anything away. Peugeot will have their people watching this. They don't want to give a moment's advantage, but clearly it's getting difficult out there.
Well, yeah, and we've just seen Frank have a real difficulty there in the first chicane. Same place where Nick Manassian went straight on, Frank had a spin. So this is definitely a tricky part of the circuit. You're coming off the Mulsanne Straight very, very quickly, having to brake hard on the really dodgy surface at the moment, to be honest. It's very slippery, very difficult to judge. So, but, we're saying, should he be on intermediates? Well, as far as, is Nick Manassian not on slick still?
We believe he is not now.
He's not good. I was going to say, I don't know how he's doing it otherwise, but certainly I don't think he's on anything above intermediates.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it was our questioner just got it a little bit leading.
I was thinking that is phenomenal.
And to be honest, the thing was, they were having an interview in English, and you could see the eyebrows of the spokesman for Peugeot just thinking, yes, well, if you want to say we're on slicks, I'm not going to deny it.
I was thinking this was a feat of nature, actually.
No. He knew that they were watching. Mark.
And I've got sunshine, Liz, so it's going to dry up very, very quickly. The cloud is very high now, so this is just going to throw another spanner into all their calculations.
This could get very exciting. Just watching the back end of that Peugeot getting a little excited as he accelerated very hard out of that corner. You can just see how much horsepower these cars have, and in these conditions they will get wheel spin all the way up to 4th gear sometimes, so certainly very tricky.
Amazing. Once you just hit that accelerator, there's the gap, and it's 2:27, and Christensen is holding his own against Manassian. 2 8:27 with 33, just under 34 minutes remaining of this fantastic 76th running of the Le Mans 24 hours. It's been an absolute pleasure throughout the evening, hasn't it?
It has. This has been an incredible race. Of all the races that I would be stuck not driving in, it's been very exciting to commentate on it. So thanks to Eurosport for bringing me in, because this has been very lively all the way through, hasn't it?
It's a pleasure to have your perspective here, Liz. It's really is useful, especially in these kind of conditions, just to know what the mindset is within the teams, Mark.
Yeah, I think this is what you've got to consider. And I remember Frank Bieler and two of his colleagues have won this race 5 times, and 2 of those are in the wet. So Frank's not an idiot. So when something like that happens, you know just how bad it is. Frank isn't a guy who goes and makes mistakes. The only sad thing for him is that his future of Audi was under threat at the beginning of this year, and he would have just loved this 3rd successive win to consolidate his time at Audi. We may not see Frank here again at Le Mans.
Which I think would really be a shame, because Frank has been such a strong part of Audi for so many years, and he really does a great job. So it would be really, really disappointing to see him not back with Audi at Le Mans again.
James W says he's just loving the coverage. Well, we promised you we go 24 hours, James W, and we have. Titch enjoying life as well, so are the rest of you. And there it is, the 2 lights on the side of the number 7 car show it's in 2nd place. What you want is just to have a solitary 1 there. It looks prettier with 3 on it, but the 1 is what you're after, and that at the moment is what is on board the number 2 car of Tom Christensen. 373 laps completed, 32 stops despite all of the weather, and when you look at the nearest Peugeot to him, it's the 7 car, 372 laps. It'll be on the same lap as they come by in a moment's time, but 2 more stops, and that's the crucial difference between them.
In fact, they've started already as well, because Benoit Trellier has bought the 7th place Pescarolo, best of the petrol cars. He's in, being refueled and refettled. That will be their last stop. There's only 35 minutes to go, so that, I think, Carlton, Liz, is going to start the train of pit stops off. If Pescarolo call that, the rest will be following.
Well, I think we've just heard that the number 7 car is going to come in for a pit, but not change its drivers. So that would be Nick Minassian coming in just for fuel and then carry on to the finish. So I think we've just heard that, so we'll wait and see if that's what's going to happen.
Nervous times for Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich. He's a busy man out there. He has a lot under his on his in tray, I should say, and finally he'll be able to put this one to bed, surely, for the 2 car. And what would it mean to Alan McNish as well? 11 years ago he won it, and he's been desperate to do so again. He thought he got it in the bag last year. I've never seen a man look more disappointed than last year. Well, can he hold on this time? He's got just over half an hour to go, but it's in the hands of someone else. Tom Christensen is the man, and he's doing a great job. He's posted a 3:24.152. Minassian remarkably, and Montagny just heading towards the 3:20 mark. In fact, 3:20 has just been kissed, and it's gone under by Alexander Wurz at 3:19, 3:94. These speeds are just absolutely unbelievable out there.
Not now, Carlton. That's the best laps.
That's the best. There's no chance they can do that. No.
Do you know what?
I'm sorry, Carlton. Not even Superman can do that time in the wet.
I'm just going to go out and quietly shoot myself. I've got a silencer here.
Look at the wrong column, Carlton.
It's been a very, very long night, and I'm sure everyone will forgive me.
Yeah, but you make for a great show, Carlton.
Back with you soon from Eurosport.
Tell you what, let's have a break. There'll be a small gunshot sound while we're out. We're just going to nip downstairs and talk to Jacques Villeneuve, who will fill us in on his thoughts. I've always got to think about the commentary that's been going on up here. Sorry about my faux pas, looking at the wrong screen.
Jacques, it looks difficult to come back from the end for Audi. They're quite a little bit front, but it's still possible.
Well, 30 minutes to go, and it's a little bit too late. We would need to be lucky right now, but you never know what might happen. Still, Nicola did a good job there driving with the dry tires on the wet track.
I'm sure you don't really like to finish second, but you will be there next time if it's not possible this time.
Well, we're here to try and win. Second is good for all the guys who worked hard on the car and the team. But frankly, finishing second doesn't do much.
Do you love Les 24 Heures du Mans now?
Oh, it's great fun. It's a great experience, but only because we're in a competitive car.
Thank you, Jacques.
Well, Jacques Villeneuve saying, still don't know whether they're pretending, that Minassian is on slicks out there. If he is, that is incredibly impressive. have a look at the Peugeot number 7 as it plies its trade out there in just a few moments' time. But they're doing a great job. But second is nothing as far as he's concerned. And there is the number 7, and straight oning, and maybe they are on slicks out there because it's clearly having just a little bit of trouble for the time being.
Well, Nick Manassian is not the kind of person to make many mistakes unless he's given sort of a difficult prospect like slick tyres in the wet. So it's very possible that he might be. I mean, truly a very good wet driver, so it is possible.
Yes, I've just applied my technical skill to my monitor, which because it does keep jumping. I thought we were on last lap earlier, and we were suddenly on best lap, and yep, there it is. You just give it a smack and it appears to go to the right screen. So
you keep moving the columns then, Carlton, and
it's almost a career ender, this sort of thing. Anyway, thanks to Choc Monster, who says her award, or his award, not sure which, is to the dedication to duty goes to Epsilon Mechanics, spending 6 hours rebuilding the gearbox on the 21 car.
Yeah. Hi Emma, how's Darlington? Everything well? And are you baking a cake at the moment for this?
Yeah, sounds like test match special all of a sudden.
She's wonderful.
Look at this, head in hands. That is what Peugeot just... Well, it is head in hands town. You could hear the disappointment in Jacques Villeneuve's voice, couldn't you?
You could, and Jacques was here last year as well, and obviously Audi won last year again, and Peugeot really thought this was going to be their year. They've been here once, they've figured out all the problems, so they thought this was the year they would win in France. So it's really a disappointment for them.
Maybe the good news, though, is if they don't win this, we know they will be back next year.
Oh, absolutely. I think they'd be back anyway. I mean, we've seen what a huge force they are, and the dominance they've had in speed, and the huge following they have here. Obviously, you know, very important to have a French car back at the famous French race. So this is fantastic, and I'm sure we'll see them back many times to come, but certainly a disappointment for them.
The big question mark, of course, is what will Audi be bringing back?
This is the question, yeah. What is Audi going to bring back to challenge them? Because certainly they've not liked playing second fiddle in the dry to these cars.
On board with the number 8 car, that's Alexander Wurz. He's just sub 4 minutes at the moment by 2.5 seconds. We've got Marc Genet to have a word with us right now. Let's cross down.
Sure, you're still fighting for the win, but it looks to be difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult for sure. Half an hour only to go. But the weather seems to be changing a lot. There may even be some rain towards the end, so we may try to do something different, because to win this race we must do something different to our competitors, but we'll give our best.
But I'm sure you happy after your big crash, and you'll be happy to be second anyway.
Yeah, if we finish second, it's still a good result, but we had the car to win. The car was fast, was very fast. We lost the race in the night, started raining, and I don't know why we lost a lot of pace. But yeah, if we finish second after the accident, it's still a good result for sure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, no driver likes to finish second. I'm sure she'll come to realise that one day. But Marc Genet is... Well, he has come back from amazing adversity. You've got to say that. And second would be, in anyone's normal terms, would be a good result. Racing drivers aren't interested in that. There are winners, and then there's the rest. Just as the likes of Alan Whitnish, he will mean so much to him. Interesting, though, that they have decided that they have to take a different strategy. That's why they are on slicks, and one of them is coming in right now.
Manassian in the 7 car.
Well, this is pinning off second spot, and there the clock ticking down. 22 minutes and 54 seconds now remaining of this race, as I smack the monitor yet again, and it has righted itself. I'm not suggesting that violence is an answer to anything.
All high tech here.
Let's watch the tyres, Liz, see exactly what he's choosing.
Tyres and times, look at that.
22 minutes to go.
Going to be intermediates, I think. It'd be, or it's very hard to tell, unfortunately, on our monitor what tyres they're going to
He's
put
only
on.
got a maximum of 5 laps ahead of him now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's not got that many, so.
Yeah.
But you know, it's hard to tell because we're not out on the track with him. Well, there you go. We've just heard it. It's wet tyres for Persian number 7. He's going for the safe option. And he was, in fact, on slicks. We've just seen that.
Wow. Congratulations.
I have a
to
new
him.
favourite driver in this race, and it's Nick Manassian for hammering around this track in the wet on slick tyres.
Well, he hammered
Nick,
off the track a
you
couple
rock.
of times.
Yeah, but he's awesome.
He did. That was amazing. But Tom Christensen was on intermediates, went around 3 seconds faster last time by, and that tells its own story. I think that's the gamble. Will it rain? And if it does, they're in a safer place.
Yeah, Liz, they were refueling anyway, so they made a safety call.
Absolutely.
Full wets just
Very
in case.
clever. Yeah, good decision. Not far to go. Not that many laps. It's not going to dry out in 5 laps. And they just said, Nick, you know, we're this close to the end. He's done a brilliant job, but there's absolutely no point in keeping those slicks on.
Yeah.
Lee H says Tokai University team for just keeping us entertained, I suppose. They did a good job as well. That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Is nobody agreeing with me out there? Come on, guys, give me some support.
Who was?
I agree with you about the dome. I think
Montagny and Dome.
and I do think Montagny was awesome. I agree. I think that was pretty cool.
But what about this lot?
Mini GP says Sarazan the fastest driver by far out there. I'm sure there'll be others would disagree.
See Wee Allen there.
Fantastic.
10 years since his famous win for Porsche, 1998 and 1998, and this is such an important day for Allen if he can pull that off again. You know,
This would be huge for Allen, and he's just can almost taste it now. You can tell he's just sitting in the garage, rubbing his hands together, thinking it's on its way.
Sarazan, do you know what? He did such a fantastic job in qualifying, and you know, these boys have voted for him. Mini GP thinks that he's the boss. So does Cal Bing, and I'm sure many others of you out there. It's just whether you've got the whole package together. Speed doesn't necessarily come down to it, does it? In the end, you've got to have the fortune as well.
Absolutely. This is sports car racing and 24-hour racing. This is what makes it what it is. You can be the fastest car on circuit. If you don't have the reliability, it's not going to happen. And unfortunately, this is where it's come down to.
LMP2, Peter van Merkstein, he owns the Dutch Porsche. That's why they put him in the car. He's not in any danger position from the cars behind. John Nielsen, in fact, is 7 laps down in the Essex Porsche, second in that category. So that is going to be a big day for the weekend driver, amateur Peter van Merkstein.
That would be superb. I think you might see an awful lot more of the RS Spider next year. We're wondering whether Roger Penske will bring his American crew that has so much success in the American Le Mans Series as the 2-car continues to just move through the field here. Still spots of rain around the place, but I have to say on the start-finish straight here, not a sign of it. Everyone's sitting quite happily without their brollies, and the wind just picking up ever so slightly. It's helping with the drying process.
Yeah, I'm just going to pick up, Carlton, what you're saying about Penske Porsche. They will not be coming to Le Mans in LMP2.
No, they may well take a step up though.
The ACO perceive them as a full-on factory team, which of course they are in America.
Right.
The ACO does not want factory teams running in LMP2. Honda are coming next year, we know that, the Acuras. It was even announced in the Audi press conference, perhaps inadvertently, that next year when we are fighting Peugeot and Honda, they actually said that in the conference, didn't they? So they know more than Honda is saying at the moment. So that is going to be LMP1. Will we see Porsche in LMP1?
Honda or Acura, take your prick. We will be back in just around a few minutes time. The French are busy talking to Henri Pescarolo. I would have liked to have had a word with him as well. Mark Cole's got the giggle. Apologies for any slip of the tongue out there, but Tom Christensen is our leader, and the Peugeots, they're trying everything they can. They're praying for rain now. I never thought I'd hear myself say that about Peugeot, because Audi always seem to go better when it is wet, but they've taken a gamble. Will it pay off? Back in a moment. Welcome back. Eurosport is live, and what about a live wire? Look at the back end of that car, slewing all over the place. The number 7, it's on wets, don't forget. Doesn't seem to be happy in the dry. Maybe it was the final roll of the dice, and Peugeot are going to have to think of something else. What on earth could they possibly do as we come under the 16 minutes to go mark, and Tom Christensen is out there. Manassian's stop means he's fallen off the lead lap. They're clean with the run for home, we think, but you daren't count your chickens out there. There's something wrong there. I'm just wondering if Is it all attached properly, Liz?
It could just be that the tyres are very new and he's just struggling a bit to get the heat into them and everything's sorted out there, because he is on wets now, I believe, and he's on a drier bit of the circuit, so this just could be the problem, that they're sort of struggling to settle in a bit, but it's hard to tell right now, because definitely there's a lot of movement there in the back end.
Taking a look at his hands on the straight, he looked like he was well set, so it just maybe an issue in the corners, as you say, just finding grip. Look at him go. That is snaking all the way into the turn, and that's a gentle turn as well. Let's see the back end now as he comes and gets the power down. So ginger, you saw the back. Oh, look at that!
Really struggling under acceleration.
Poor old Nico, and I have to say, the 7 car, look at that.
Number 9's going to go for the same.
Changing the boots, they're going to bring him in just like this. Tom Christensen is still out there and in the lead. Van Merkstein is on board the 34 car, leading LMP2. Brabham is in the Aston, the lead car in GT1, and a lap clear of the Corvette of Magnussen, the 63 car. And as far as GT2 is concerned, it's Mika Salo who is just bringing it in with a lead of 8 laps over the nearest other car.
Well, in comes the 9 car, as we said, just piling in there. Frank Montani bringing it in. He stays on board. Full wets and fuel. They're just going to get that car to the finish. 14 minutes remaining in this race.
Well, Trax Martuk says Dr. Diesel must be turning cartwheels in his grave, that his invention is being highlighted like this. I think it's probably a very, very good point. We're on the final stretch. That is the name of the thread on the message boards. We'll do our best to have a chat with a few of you, perhaps afterwards when things calm down.
Race leader in.
But we got just under 14 minutes, and here comes the race leader, Tom Christensen. This has got to be slick. Surely it will be. Any mistakes now will be incredibly costly. The pressure is on all of the crew. Who'd be an airjack man right now, Liz?
Yeah, this is definitely a pressure part of this race. I mean, we're right at the end. We're only a lap off each other, place 1 and 2. That's not often that it comes about like that in these races. So this is really exciting. This team is going to have to be absolutely dialed in this pit stop. Any mistake, like you said, could be detrimental to that win.
They carried those wheels so carefully, and look, the 7 cars coming in not happy with whatever.
There is a problem.
I was wondering whether it's an inflation problem. What do you think?
There definitely could be. I mean, that's something, maybe there's something's gone wrong there, or maybe even a problem with the tires. I mean, that could be an issue. It's hard to say right now. It's very difficult because we aren't sitting with Nick. We're not experiencing what he's experiencing.
He is not going to lose 3rd place at the moment. He's 5 laps ahead of Lucas Luhr, so that's he's got that safety margin, Montani.
It's the 7 car, Minassi, and they may well swap.
That could happen.
Montani, we will see. It's the 7 car that's actually coming to change his boots. They may well drop to 3rd place. We'll wait and see. But out comes Tom Christensen. Watch those wheels. You can see Jackman and just fingers crossed down there, hoping that everything just stays on board. But Tom Christensen knows that he's got a comfort cushion here, and he's holding up the Aston. I don't know, couldn't see which one it was, but they want to get on with their own race out there.
That was Frentzen, he was just ahead of, So out goes Minassi, and then this is his last stint. Obviously, 12 minutes together, and he's going to get it the best. 3.5 laps in, 4 laps, aren't they? Now, of course, Liz, when the checker goes out, or when the clock hits 24 hours, those are still on the track still do that last lap, don't they?
Yeah, you absolutely have to, and within a certain amount of time, and you must take that checkered flag.
Just remind people, 6 minutes.
Yeah, 6 minutes from when the lead car goes over, isn't it?
Unless you happen to be called Sebastian Bourdais and you're on board a Peugeot.
And you're a bit special.
Yeah, last year he kind of hung back. They said it was to do a formation lap. Then they changed their mind and said it was for safety issues.
We've got a big story here down the bottom of our screens at the moment. 18th place. The 3rd place car in LMP2 is Saunier Racing, and on board that is Frankie Cheng, the first Chinese ever to start at Le Mans. He's going to get on the podium. Didier Rodriguez is Pierre Riggs is driving that car at the moment with Mathieu Lehay. Frankie Kung Fu Cheng, the first Chinese to start at Le Mans. Le Mans, lives in Oxford, carries the Olympic torch in London. How good is that?
Very cool. I mean, this is awesome for him. It's so exciting. I mean, the first time out to be on the podium, what more could you want, really? I mean, that's just fabulous. And also, this Saunier has just taken on this Pescarolo LMP2 car, so for them to come out here and do such a great job at Le Mans has got to be a real embellisher for the team.
And look at this. Well, the bottles of hair dye are out. They know that the photographs are going to be taken back at Peugeot. How miserable does that look? Anybody dare turn the sides of their mouth up is going to be taken outside and given a talking to. It is serious stuff at Peugeot. This was supposed to be their year, Mark. They had the Le Mans Series in their mind just wrapped up. When it came to the big one itself, though, well, Audi surely are going to bring it home.
Yeah, we understand the guillotine is being set up now in the plastic Autobahn. So
look at that fella. That is Dr. Wolfgang Ullrich, and that's about as happy as he lets himself be, I can tell you. But well, the mood pacing around. It's tension, but it's not worry. Surely, well, maybe it is. Through the forest yet again, dappled light, grey sky, almost flat light, and that can also hamper your vision of just shadows as soon as they start to blank out ever so slightly. Round he comes yet again. Tom Christensen doing such a great job. 3 laps remaining, Liz.
This is such a stressful time at Le Mans. I mean, it's almost like everyone thinks, oh, it's all wrapped up, it's done, but anything can happen until you've crossed that checkered flag, and it's so stressful because it's almost like you're willing the time to go faster. You know, you just want the car to be across the line, you want it to be finished and all over, but anything can still happen. Anything can go wrong. These cars have been running for 24 hours, so that's why I think everyone's looking nervous in Audi. They feel like it's there, it's in their grasp, but anything could still happen in this race.
I think they've been there before. A little bit of history with the 2 car.
Absolutely.
Wasn't as close as this, but Alan Whitnish will be, well, he's not to be found. We're looking down towards those that pit box, and you just can't see him. Everybody else is watching the monitors and doing whatever it is that they do.
Yeah, and let's not forget Tom Christensen is going to take win number 8. He's already the record holder on 7. This is going to be 8. Jack Eakes second best at 6, and Jack is sitting in the next door commentary box of Eurosport France to us at this moment. I wonder what's going through his mind.
Well, he's seeing his record go further and further away. Solidly in second place. I don't think he's going to get back on board one of these cars. And there's the clock ticking down. 8 minutes and 50 to go and ticking. And the forgotten man of the 2 car, let's not forget him ourselves, Dindo Capello. Absolute Mr. Solid out there. A great ambassador as well. And he's got wins under his belt too, Mark. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, 3 wins already. This will be his 4th in 10 participations. So the dream team. They've never ever won Le Mans together. They've won Sebring together. They've won Petit Le Mans together. They've won American Le Mans Series races. They've won LMS races, but never the 3 of them together at Le Mans.
Wow.
Yeah, another big story that we're going to look at here is that it looks like Darren Turner and I believe David Brabham are going to win for a 2nd year in a row, and Antonio Garcia, who's got his first drive in that works car, is also going to take the win, it looks like. I mean, obviously, like I've said, anything can happen, but it certainly looks like the 009 Aston Martin is going to take the win at Le Mans for the 2nd year in a row, so that's very exciting.
The clock ticks away and 8 minutes is hit now. 8 minutes to go. It's going to break the 380 lap mark. If it had have been dry, we may well have been nudging the 400 up there for the winner in the 24 hours. We're not going to get close this time. I reckon 381 by the looks of things is what it's going to be. Tom Christensen is out there, but the cameras are looking at Peugeot. You might well expect that from the blimp. The cameraman's picked up the wrong car. He's clearly been told at the beginning, stick with the Peugeots, they're heading for victory. Unfortunately, the note has not been passed to it that Audi are the ones who are in the driving seat at the moment.
But certainly a very exciting race we've had. I mean, this has been probably the most exciting 24-hour race, if not even, a 12-hour race, it would still be very exciting. It's incredible. I mean, how often do we get things this close right at the end?
Yeah, let's just have a look at the Aston statistics as well. David Brabham, he's going to win for the 3rd time here at Le Mans. The first time he won, 93, is not shown in the record books. He and David Coulthard took that Jaguar XJ 220 to victory in GT, but the ACO decided they didn't like the fact they didn't have catalytic converters. Although IMSA were here, said this is legal in America. The ACO said that it's not legal here, but the car was running in the IMSA class. I mean, it was crazy. Anyway, just to finish that, Garcia, as you say, what a great job by him. He's going to win, and Darren Turner, it'll be his 2nd win in GT
in a row as well.
Yeah,
he won last year. So
and Brabs,
him and Brabs 2 in a row, so that's quite exciting.
Wirtz comes in, no hurry to do anything with the number 8 car, running in 5th place and with 2-lap cushion over Frank Biela in the Audi. Even if he stops now, he's probably going to finish in that spot. There it is, total stops times. Look at that, 33. The 3 pit stop difference is where the time is found.
Absolutely, and we've always been saying this, that pit stops is where it's going to come down to, and just reliability. The less problems you have, the less pit stops. It's all just time in the end, and it's clocked it up nicely for the Audis.
So many stories to tell. This has been one heck of a race. They write a book each year on this. Generally, it sells very well in France. It's a superb tome, but your French has to be up to it. They're going to have so much to say about this year.
Oh,
Mark.
yes. Yeah, it's been absolute non-stop drama from start to finish. I mean, the biggest story of the race probably is how Porsche self-destructed early in the race and just handed it on a plate to Ferrari. We've got Ferrari in the top 4 places. But look at this. The Felbermar car's dragged itself up into 5th, having been 7th all night. And the Lizards car, which was taken out in a very heavy shunt by the IMSA Matmut Porsche, they both went flying off the circuit together. That is going to finish in 7th place. And Seth Neiman will bring that across the line.
He will, which is really exciting for Seth. He's done a good job. He's had some drama in the race, but, you know, it's nice for him to have to take that over the line. And also, a great story is JMB. They've moved all the way up to 4th place. They've pounded their way through. Ben Alcott, the amateur driver on that team, but has done a phenomenal job driving in this race. After a shunt in practice, he's just gotten past that. He's gotten his head down and done a great job. I don't think that car has had many problems at all.
GT2,
so great to finish in 4th.
It's been a thriller, hasn't it, out there? It's so much mix and matching, but when you look at the top, the record books will read Ferrari 1, 2, 3 and 4.
They will.
Now,
Yes.
Tom's going to try and eke out these last laps, isn't he? He's 4:40 to go. And look, he's slowing down already. He's got 6 minutes to do that last lap, and he doesn't want to have to do another lap. So in fact, his last one, 4:05 he's just done. So he knows he'll be told from the pits, Tom, this is your last lap. Just keep it cool, be like that. And when you come round next time, the checker will be waiting.
It will be 381 laps that's recorded historically here. That's going to be the last time in competition he goes under that Dunlop Bridge. Fantastic. Tom Christensen, what a guy. He's got there's so much that's automatic about him, but he's so much deeper than that as well. He really is a genuine character. The smile can be switched on and off whenever he requires it. That just shows what a pro he is out of the car. And there it is, 258,500 visitors. The beer, well, they've still got plenty left. I don't think they might drink it dry. As for Peugeot, they keep that champagne on ice for another year perhaps. Will they bring it back, or will they just cancel the program? Enough.
Liz, the last lap of this race, you backing off, everything's now relaxed, but that is probably a really dangerous time, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, the last lap, I mean, I've finished the Spa 24 hours before, and it's a similar sort of thing. Everybody's backing off because it's the end of the race, but I'll say, as a driver, you're still thinking, God, it's got to happen. You just have to get over that line before you've actually settled in. So, yeah, it is. This is so exciting for Audi, and I'm really happy for Alan McNish finally getting that win. He's been begging for it for ages, and
look who's back out.
The dome. The dome is going to take the finish.
Fantastic.
How good is that?
That's wonderful.
Get on the forum. It's my car.
A big story for them. The dome's going to take the finish right behind Audi, it looks like. What a nice place for them, right alongside.
He's going to keep up, and the reason he's going to keep up, he's not just getting out of, well, actually, I think he's doing the modesty thing. Anyway, let's just get back to Audi. Nervous moments for them. When a driver is told to slow down, all the natural way of going through the corners kind of goes out the window. It's a little bit of a dangerous thing to do. I'm sure that Tom Christensen can more than cope with this.
Tom Christensen going on for breaking his own record in as many races as he's won here. I think he certainly knows what to do in the finish.
And
but
the Danish flags are out in force, and look at that. They're waiting, and it's going to be a huge celebration. And Tom Christensen is used to celebrating, but he'll go for this one just as big as ever before.
Yeah, and Reinhold Just, we just saw there, this will be his 11th Le Mans victory as a team owner, as a team runner. So that's pretty impressive. And I think Norbert Singer at Porsche will be first to congratulate him. They've been friends for years, those two, but they're still trading wins against each other.
Wow, look at this. He's going so slow. The GT1 cars, GT2 cars are almost keeping up. It's kind of a parade going on already in his head. Tom Christensen is going to come home here. Victory for the Audis. Alan McNish, Dindo Capello. What stories will be told by those? And what stories still remain? I wonder if Tom can come back and do it again. It almost seems impertinent to say so.
He will. Liz, I think for me the overriding story of this year's race is that we've had no lame duck cars. Once the Lucchini had gone, every car out here was within a chance of victory.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, every car pushed hard, and this has certainly been one of the most competitive years we've seen for a long time, and I think that's really cool. That's the way Le Mans should be. There should be people fighting all the way to the finish in every class, and it's great to see that.
Peugeot want to spoil out his party to grab the photo opportunity. He's going to stay right in front of Tom this last lap. So Peugeot crossed the line ahead of Audi.
I actually thought just for a
dear.
moment that Minassian was going to come alongside him and they were going to do a sort of a doffing of the cap there, but not a bit of it.
It's raining again,
He
raining
roosted
again.
tails and away
No,
he
he's going
goes.
again.
He's just going to scoot out of it. He's unlapped himself, don't forget, so effectively he's going to finish higher up the numerical order. As far as his position on the track is
but
concerned, that's not going to
But
change.
he's got to do another lap, Carlton.
He has, but he doesn't care. He doesn't want to be part of this party. This is going to be Audi's day here. Everybody else with a great deal of respect. The 90 car that has his troubles as well is just hugging in there. That's going to finish on the podium in GT2. But this is all going to be about Tom Christensen and Audi in particular. Alan McNish will have got it again. Amazing. Here they come. The lights looking brighter than perhaps they should do as the grey skies fall upon us. 17, 16, 15 before the clock runs out here. The final
Everybody's
10
on the wall.
seconds comes now. Everybody's standing up. The crowds are there. They're going to be bashing the barriers, waving the flags. The clock is going to be out. 2, 1. Now 24 hours have been completed, and this is the winning moment as Tom Christensen and Audi. He comes past the entrance into the pit lane here. He's just got these final curves to do, and he will bring it around here as if it was made of gold. There he goes. He wants every single one of these corners to pass by slower than you could possibly imagine. The line is waning, and Tom Christensen has done it, breaking his own record, and the Le Mans 24 hours, the 76 running of it. The flags are up. Everybody is loving this, but no more so than Audi. Peugeot have been beaten on a day when everyone thought it would be their party. Audi are the ones celebrating yet again.
Good job, and Tom goes over to the pit wall right underneath all his colleagues there, the crews, and what a great job. The Viking wins with Braveheart and with Dindo, so how good is that? It doesn't get any better, especially for Audi UK. They've been chasing its win ever since they took on Alan McNish.
Alan McNish, Dindo Capello and Tom Christensen.
Brilliant
will be
pit stops,
on the
teamwork.
winners
Thomas
stroll.
here, got his crew
We're gonna
working
cross
really
down
well,
and have
and
a
we've done
brief
it. We've
interview.
done it against the
Audi
odds.
are waiting to talk to
You've
us.
done
Here
it.
is Alan McNish.
Dindo, I'm sure it's just incredible. No words.
Yeah.
You should take off your sunglasses.
I think after last year, Alan, Tom and myself, we thought that it would never happen again, the chance to win. But this year was fantastic because we were not the fastest car at the start, but probably we have been the best during the race. And after last year's result, I think we really deserved this victory. The team did a great job. We had no one small problem, no one small mistake from the driver. Everything was perfect, as it was last year. And fortunately, this year the end was much better.
Well done.
Well done indeed. Almost lost for words, Dindo Capello, and that's a very rare thing. We got the briefest of looks at Alan McNish, I think it was. I wasn't quite on the monitor. Tom Christensen still on board the car. No happier crew than the Audi boys.
Let's not overlook what's happening behind LMP2. Peter van Merkstein brings the Dutch Racing Porsche across the line with Jeroen Bleekemolen and with Jos Verstappen. Jos's first ever Le Mans. What a great job for him. First drive in the night. Go down to GT1.
Well, Porsche 1 and 2 in that P2 class, and GT1, well, the Aston has done it. They have beaten by an entire lap the Corvette Charge, the two factory Corvettes, the 63 and 64 car, finishing in an Aston sandwich, if you like. The 009, Brabham brought it home, and the 007 with Heinz-Harald Frentzen, who makes a great return to Le Mans in 4th spot.
Oh, and Carlton, we just have to say once again, as last year, Aston all terribly sober there with their flags, but in front of us there's the Stars and Stripes, and they're all over the wall, the Corvette people. They might have come second, but they're going to make a bigger finishing show.
Absolutely. It's America. This is what we do.
Thank you, Liz. Well done. Yeah, congratulations, Liz.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, well, thanks.
On your second place in GT2.
Yeah.
But what about those GT2 boys?
Yeah.
And what about Mika Salo in the 82 car?
He and Jamie Mello really backed up with Jimmy Bruni. Bruni, I have to say, in GT2, to me was the driver of the race. He just got that car by the scruff of the neck and he threw it around the circuit all night long. I mean, they didn't quite match Bergmeister's sub-4-minute lap, but he did a super job. So full marks to those three.
And a 7-lap winning margin,
to Giuseppe Rizzi.
Yeah, they had a huge one. They've been leading for hours and hours and hours. I think they've been leading this race as long as the Audi has been, which is quite impressive.
And they'll be dancing in Houston tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I went
Rock
there
and
once.
roll.
I went there once to buy a Stetson.
I've raced there.
You've raced there.
It's rip-roaring fun.
Best
You know,
team,
there's
that's
hat
the
shop,
best
isn't there?
maybe victory
Famous
for
hat
you.
shop. We all went there.
Yeah,
Boots
we
and
have a
hats.
great team and they did an excellent job. So I'm very proud and happy for all of us.
Well done, well done.
The briefest of words for a man who will be talking to an awful lot of people, Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich. He's busy with DTM most of the time. He follows, of course, the Le Mans Series. He slips over to the American Le Mans Series and he's been here for the 24 hours. He's looking good on it.
Absolutely. This is a great win for him. This is huge. Another year of Audi. Everyone said it was going to be Peugeot. Everyone thought they would really have it dialed in this year. But this car, even though it's a bit slower, still reliability and honest, great drivers has won this race.
It's that fuel economy that really paid for them. They took fewer stops, 3 fewer, the winning car than that.
And here comes
second.
the LMP2 winner.
And Manassian.
And Manassian behind. So this is this is an interesting lineup coming over the checkered flag now.
Well, that tells its own story as well, because the P2s that they may well be LMP2, but the 34 car has beaten a number of LMP1 cars out there as well, and all credit to them. They've come here with the RS, the Porsche Spider, and done such an amazing job. Positions 1 and 2, a real superb result in that class.
And behind the Corvette there is the Dome. He's made it on the final lap, so what a debut for
We've had
Dome
2
here.
big things. The Dome is finished and the Lamborghini, so huge days for both of them. Finally.
Dome will now go to Toyota in Tokyo and say, we can do it.
Fork it out.
Pay us next year, we will win this for you.
Show me the money. Absolutely.
You would not bet against it. They really had that car hooked up. It was running top 10 for most of this race.
It was.
And just some ill fortune late on. Fortune, well, it favours the brave, and there's none braver than that trio who've come to victory here. And Tom Christensen, there he is, just getting himself looking gorgeous. Here he is.
It's really Audi day to prove reliability and give us a race car, which Alan and me, we can go out and spank and put pressure on Peugeot, and they gave us a fantastic fight. But to come out and winning this one, everyone in Audi, they can be so proud, and thanks for believing in me, Alan and Dindo, for this amazing result. And it pays a lot back for us for last year where we were dominating. But this year, to win with such a strong competition from Peugeot, which had a car which is 3 or 4 seconds a lap faster, but the different conditions and the perfect strategy, our engineer Howden Haynes and all his background of people gave us the right tires before others sometimes could see what we want to do. So with this tricky weather, it was 3 pretty tough hours out there, I can tell you.
You know, you made all the team cry. Dr. Ulrich, Alan, Dindo, everyone is crying.
Alan and Dindo too. This is amazing. Dr. Ulrich, he cries always. But to see these two cry, this is something special. That little Scottish Terrier, he deserved very much a victory at Le Mans. He has been my hardest competitor for many years, and now he has won number 2. And I think now for him it can get rolling as long as it's with me. And with Dindo, a charming gentleman. Yeah, he's not as old as he looks, but he did a fantastic job, and they brought me the car in the end where I could finish it off in the difficult conditions. So really we enjoy driving together, and we enjoy driving for this Audi brand, which as we all know, what is Amy? I forgot, but definitely U is united, D is determined, and I is in control. The first, I forgot what it means. I think it means aggressive.
Is it your best one?
Yes, because the best one is always the one you get out of, and the best one is always when you look forward. And just now, I just stopped looking forward for this race, and this is the best moment you can have. And this is great because people said, you cannot win with Alan, and now we proved that. And people say we can't win with a yellow car. And hey, Nicholas, great fight.
Thank you.
Tom Christensen, what a character he is.
That little Scottish terrier. That will stay with Alan forever, I think.
And Wolfgang Ulrich apparently always cries, Mark.
I'm very concerned about the spanking. There's been far too much of that.
Well, we now know why the Audi won. It requires
Was a great
spanking, obviously.
race. Difficult
was an FIA
to finish
program.
second, but still a good result.
Yeah, I'm a little bit gutted, but you know, I think they all credit to them. It was a great race. They did a great job. We did a great job, but not good enough. That's it.
Thanks, Nico.
Hey, that was great. That was great.
Carlton, something you picked up. Well done. He made sure he finished on the lead lap by just passing Christensen, so that at least they got some sort of bragging right on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a good effort there by Nick Manassian, and truly some amazing driving by him at the end of the race. I mean, what a job on those slick tyres. So, you know, Nick deserves a lot of credit for that.
Well, and you guys deserve a lot of credit as well.
And you, Carlton.
Oh, thanks. You too, Carlton.
It's been a busy one. We've had a big crew for you here on Eurosport, live throughout those 24 hours. Oh, getting a bit cut up myself now.
Choking up.
No, it's been great fun, and thanks to everyone who's been on the forums as well. It's been a pleasure to have your company. I think we've broken just about every forum record at Eurosport as well, so it's credit to you as well. We know you've been loving proceedings here at Le Mans, the 76 running of it, and thanks to Jeremy Shaw as well, Neville Hay, Chris Parsons and Simon Hill, who've been so much a part of this team here. It's been a pleasure to have your company live throughout the planet on Eurosport, it seems. 24 hours, well, we have every single one of those minutes right here, didn't you?
We're being told 28 million viewers in all, so that's something pretty impressive.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
28 million viewers. If I could buy you all a drink, I probably would, but I'd be a very rich man, and sadly I'm not.
For Carlton, it has been a pleasure. My 26th Le Mans, and have to say, one of the best. And Liz, great to have you with us again.
My fourth and my first one in the box instead of in a car. So it's been very exciting, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Are we going to see you again in the box, or you want to be racing here next year?
Well, you know, I have to be honest, I desperately want to be in a car next year, but if I'm not, then I will 100% come join you, and hopefully in some other races.
This is when they unleash the stands and everyone gathers out front to meet the winners. Reinhold Joest, all the handshakes going on, and it looks, it's a serious, it's a professional, it's a fantastic crew. Audi are they're what racing at distance is all about. They love Le Mans. They're never going to give up on it. There's lots of theories as to which divisions they'll be racing in the none too distant future. There was also speculation, Mark, that maybe this would be the last time that we see this vehicle, the winning vehicle.
Yeah, I think you'll find at the end of this season Audi will announce a new program. The R10 has done its job. They're the first to say it's a 3-year-old car now, and we need to move on. And Wolfgang Ulrich even said last year, don't necessarily expect us to come back with diesel cars. He said petrol is getting more and more efficient, and we have new things in the pipe.
So, well, certainly the big story is Audi, the legend continues.
It certainly does.
I think.
2 steps of the podium are made up by Peugeot, but the one that really matters, the top step.
Yeah,
belongs
fastest
to Audi.
lap of the race going to Peugeot, by the way, Sarrazin, that 3:19. Now, tomorrow morning, the ACO is going to sit down and look at that, and Liz, I think they're going to be very, very concerned that was set during the race.
Yeah, there's a lot of chat about trying to limit the speed in the race so that the times are a bit closer together in the classes. They're talking about a 3:30, so I think this definitely will be a bit of a topic to discuss.
It's a safety issue. We saw cars getting very, very heavily damaged. The Mazda was one of those. Lola did a great job repairing the tub to get them back out there and racing. Sadly, it wasn't to be a finish for them.
No, this is a shame. I mean, there was a lot of work that went on in the whole race, and a lot of amazing cars we saw this time around. We saw some of the first new coupe cars in this 24-hour race, and we've seen the speed of them and what they can do. Lola especially, we're going to see a lot more from them, I think, and expect Lola well up there on the grid next year.
Yeah, 2 of those coupes also finishing, the Charouz Lola, Aston Martin and the Dome. As we look at the number 2 car, is that's
the 7 car,
the second place car,
Yeah, they had lots of congratulations early on. That was in qualification, and at qualifying, well, we thought that Peugeot had got this just about wrapped up. They certainly showed us the way in qualifying. They started this race in fine style, but they ended it trailing the Audis.
Well, it just goes to remind you that speed is not everything in endurance racing. It certainly is for the start of the race and where you'll be on the grid, but certainly by the end it is not the be-all and end-all. It all comes down to reliability and keeping the car going round and round consistently, and Audi's done just that today.
They certainly have. Look at the crowds here, and how many Danish flags can you possibly say? If you're a Danish flag salesperson, I suspect you spend most of your life just following Tom Christensen around the planet.
Yeah. Let's just look at the 4 class winners: Audi, Porsche, Aston Martin and Ferrari. 4 of the most iconic names, not just in racing but in motoring as well, and Aston Martin pulling off a second successive defeat of Corvette. I'm sure Corvette will be back with a vengeance,
and doing it in a beautiful livery as well. The Gulf colours reigning supreme yet again in that GT2 class. LMP2, it was all about the Porsches. Aston beating the Corvettes. It was always going to be that fight again, and so it proved, despite the fact that Aston looked off the pace after qualifying. When it came to GT2, well, Porsche seemed to be the ones that were bossing it, but in the end, as predicted, in fact, the Ferrari F430 GTs, well, they came home with everything.
This will be a bit sad for Porsche. I'm sure they're thrilled to win the LMP2 class on their first outing here, but certainly they would have loved to have had a win in 2 different classes where they really did have the opportunity.
Jeroen Bleekemolen then leads the Dutch LMP2 winners onto the podium. Jos Verstappen and Peter Van Merkstein there. What a great day for him. He owns that car. He bought the car with the sole objective of winning Le Mans, and he's done it first time.
Fantastic. That's how to spend your money wisely, Mark. So we're just waiting now for the podium for the main production class, the one that really sticks in everyone's minds despite the best efforts of all the others, and we saluted all of them one by one, but what it really counts is who is top dog. 381 laps completed by just 2 cars. So unfortunately for Peugeot, they weren't the one that crossed the line when it mattered. After the clock ran out, after a full 24 hours. The 9-car, Mark.
Yep, the 9-car crew. So they're up there on the top of the podium, and on board that 9-car, as you well know by now, you've been following us long enough, Frank Montani, my personal hero of the race, Ricardo Zonta, his first Le Mans, and Christian Klein, rookie as well. So good choice by Peugeot, putting good people in the cars, and they made sure that in no one car was the drivers of the same nationality.
7-car, Jacques Villeneuve, Marc Jenny and Nicolas Minassian. Jacques Villeneuve will have to wait if he wants to equal the record of Graham Hill, winning Formula 1, the Indy 500 and the Le Mans 24 hours.
And Jacques in his trademark very large suit. It looks like it's still the thing he likes to do.
Mr.
Keep it comfortable.
Pants.
And here they are. Here are the winners of the Le Mans 24 Hours 2008. What a day this is for Audi.
Getting on the podium, Alan McNish, Dina Cabello and Tom Christensen yet again. He just can't stop winning at Le Mans. Will anyone be able to stop him? And I don't think it's going to be his last. So the crowds wait, the crowds loving this as almost as much as we are, just turning up the sound just to appreciate what's going on down there, and such an atmosphere, and this party's going to rage long. The Danes make pretty good beer as well, Mark.
Well, show me some, I'll try it. But 8 wins, as you say, for Tom Christensen, just goes further and further away from everyone else into the record books. And even Dr. Ulrich behind is now happy, and he's acknowledging Tim's 8 wins. But Alan McNish coming back in glory after winning for Porsche in 1998, now wins for Audi in 2008.
Now, Tom Christensen has just taken out his Rolex. He was almost threatening to throw it to the crowd, and there was a huge surge.
Think of how many of those he has now.
I don't know. Running out of wrists.
Not so many, because Rolex, of course, haven't been associated that long with Le Mans.
Oh, that's true.
Daytona, yes. He's never won one of those, of course.
Fair enough.
Yeah, McNish has, but Tom hasn't.
I presume it's a steel Daytona Cosmograph that they're handing out.
Oh, absolutely.
White being the choice. You have a choice of white or black faces. White, easier to see the dials, apparently, if you're a driver.
Yeah, that is the watch to have. As the same way, if you win Indianapolis, you get the signet ring, don't you?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And you get a lovely lovely watch for Petit Le Mans and Sebring as well.
Right. Can we see your Sebring watch, Liz? You're not
It's
wearing
not with me, no, sorry, but I do wear it to the racetrack. Whenever I'm racing, I've got the Sebring
Look at
watch
the
on.
hordes here, guys. This is amazing. It seems that just about everybody, over 250,000 people coming along to see this event. It just gets bigger and bigger, Mark.
It is, along with Indianapolis, the biggest motorsport event of the world. And of course, they always say with the 85,000 Brits here, it's the second biggest motor race in Britain.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is what every sports car driver wants to do. We want to stand on the podium at Le Mans. It is the dream. And I think, well, it's certainly still my dream. So I think every sports car driver wants to be up there one day.
If on cue, the drizzle has now stopped, everything's drying out, and the crowd can actually go and enjoy it. They'll be drinking and dancing at the campsites long into the night.
There are the trophies. Alan Windisch done it again after an 11-year hiatus. Dindo Capello, Mr. Solid on the car, and Tom Christensen, the broadest grin in the whole of the paddock. Look after those watches, fellas.
The Michelin Award, Bruno van der Rijswijk, the Le Mans public address announcer, famous throughout the world, of course, bringing on the presenters of the trophies. But look at this, that is a huge trophy.
That's enormous. It needs, it's the same size as Alan and Dindo. That's why the two of them need to pick it up.
Look at the atmosphere here. This is going to be a big party. There's rock bands and everything in the Le Mans village. If ever you do fancy a visit, you will not be disappointed. Those who came along this year will have been thrilled at what has been an incredibly exciting race. The anthem of our winners team. The German national anthem ringing out. I imagine there'll be a few more, but as it stands, before the remainder get underway, we'd just like to say thanks for your company. Hope you've enjoyed this unrivaled coverage that we've had here. Tremendous. It's been live throughout on Eurosport. I'm Carlton Kirby. Thanks to the rest of the team. With us signing off here, Mark Cole and Liz Halliday. We'll see you next time, eh?
Yes.